Okay, we are almost there. We are almost there. Very good. I think we are there. Hello, hello, everybody. I will wait a moment to make sure everybody comes. I'm going to check something. Let me see here. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, I cannot see that. All right, that's okay. Hello. Today is Monday, December 23rd, 2024. And no, it is not our last uh, gathering for the year. There is one more next Monday, the 30th. I am still going live next Monday, the 30th. My name is RC from Quiet Mind Light Center, and this is session number 25, I believe. So I started in the middle of the year, and so here we are. Um, my name is RC from Quiet Mind Light Center. I'm a holistic healer, have been one for over 2 decades. And I just felt the need that we all need to get together and we need to support each other and have inspirational moments and talk about things that matter to us. Talk about not we talk about the weather too, but talk about more deeper things. Talk about things that matter, things that maybe trigger us and we don't want it to trigger us anymore. Things that we want to let go, that we don't want to next year, next December, this time. We don't want to have the same issue lingering over our heads. We want to move beyond them and move through them and embrace them and conquer them. So our life will evolve. And we want to do it in a loving way, right? It is so easy to be nasty. It is so easy to cut somebody. It is so easy to be rude. Um, what is hard is not to do that. What is hard is to take a moment and to take a moment and say, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to hurt someone intentionally. I'm not going to think that way. There are many times, more before when I started on this path, that something would happen. Let's take something very simple, like somebody would cut in front of me, and I would want to just say all these colorful words to them, right? And, they took my space and they were rude and they cut in front of me. And, we have all this anger that comes out. And then when I started on this path of spirituality, of this path of, I want to get to know myself. I want to figure out, why am I acting this way? Why am I feeling this way? So that I could conquer that. When I started on this path, there was a point that I had to say to myself, do you really want to curse at the guy that just cut in front of you? What, he did it intentionally, he did unintentionally. Who knows? Who cares? He doesn't know me. She doesn't know me. She is just the driver. That person is being who they need to be at this moment in time. What if I don't get angry? What if I don't curse at them? What if I just let it go? And so when I would take a moment and think like that, and not react, I would feel so much better. I would feel so proud of myself that, hey, I didn't let this one incident ruin my day. I didn't let this one thing take me down, making me feel bad, sad and angry and trigger me, right? When you don't let other people trigger you, you take control, you're taking control of yourself. As long as someone can trigger you, even if it's a compliment, even if you are waiting, you need the compliment, and sometimes we can take it and say, okay, I can use this for good, rather than be attached to it. So there is a difference there. So once we learn not to allow others to trigger us, we are taking control of ourselves. And there is a reason I want to talk about this today, because I want to take this conversation from here to self-love, which I love to talk about, and to karma and trauma and reincarnation. And of course, in order not to go through the drama and karma and trauma, there is, before stopping the cycle of reincarnation, there is a period of our life that we need to focus on forgiveness. And that starts immediately. So let's talk about self love. When you don't let others trigger you, it is an act of self love. Taking a shower is an act of self love. Dressing nicely so when you look in the mirror and you like what comes back at you from the mirror is an act of self love. Learning something new, always challenging your mind to learn new things, is an act of self love. I'll be honest with you, I lived in Mexico for a year. I learned some words, but I didn't learn how to speak Spanish. And that always was like a chip on my shoulder. I always questioned myself. Yes, almost everybody in the town I was, a lot of people spoke English. But why couldn't I have attempted harder to speak Spanish? So I downloaded this app called Duolingo, and it's a free app, unless you want to pay for bells and whistles. Um, and I'm learning Spanish. Yes, it's 5-10 minutes a day. It's really not like half an hour a day where it would make a huge change. But I know for sure that at some point it's going to click. Now I can read it and most of the time figure out the answers. But it's the challenge. I want you to find something to challenge yourself, your mental state, to constantly learn something new. Don't be satisfied with the status quo of where you are. Yes, it's nice to take pauses, but again, be ready to take a new challenge on. So that is learning new things is a sign of self-love. Always wanting to improve your physical body, your emotional body, your mental body, your psychology, your spirituality is a sign of self-love. Eating the right food is a sign of self-love. So there are all different ways where you can practice self-love. And you know what else is self-love? Forgiveness. We go back into our past and we judge the younger self of us so harshly. We judge them so harshly. We um, say, why did we make this decision? Why did we say this? Why did we do that? Why didn't we do that? Only if, constantly doubting, did I make the right decision? Did I do the right thing? Was it good that I didn't take that job? I took this job, on and on and on. When you go back, you're not being fair to the person that you were, because you have learned so much more today than the person before, than the younger version of you. You've learned so much. Who are you helping by judging yourself, by cutting yourself down, by doubting yourself 6 months later, a year later, a month later, however long it is? And if it just happened, then it's something you can learn from. So, what if instead of self doubt, what if instead of um being hard on the younger version of yourself, what if you practiced forgiveness? As long as we are judging, we are also creating karma. Oh, I wasn't nice to that person. We're creating karma. We let somebody trigger us and we zapped at them with nasty words. We're creating karma. And as long as there is karma out there, there is a pure essence part of you that wants to resolve it. Maybe your ego will not allow you to see it right away, but there is a part of you that is that pure essence, your soul, your spirit wants to resolve that, doesn't want that lingering. Sometimes you can go tell the person, I'm sorry. They might accept, they might not. But just the act of sincerely saying, I'm sorry, regardless if they accept it or not, begins the process of forgiveness and healing within yourself. And sometimes that opportunity does not exist. Sometimes you give that opportunity to somebody else and they don't take it. And it's okay. As long as you're doing your part of, I am forgiving myself for putting myself in a situation where somebody else said things to me that hurt me, and or I said things to somebody else that hurt them. So continuously working with forgiveness within yourself until you know you have given it to the light. Once you give it to the light will take it and dissolve it, and you're not going to have karma anymore with that situation, with that person. Now, if the person is, a parent, if the person is a co-worker, family member, uh, there's lots of stuff that has arisen. And so you would need to, for your own sake, go and do the forgiveness process within yourself. So one thing after another, after another, after another, you're forgiving yourself for putting yourself in that situation. And sometimes it is by them doing something or saying something, but because it left a scar on us, either physically, emotionally, mentally, psychologically, because it left a scar on us, we still blame ourselves because we put ourselves in that situation. Sometimes it's easier for some certain situations to forgive ourselves first. Now, if the other person, once you forgive yourself, I'm gonna do an example. Let's say I said to somebody some nasty words, and then I go home. I was very angry. They had said something to me, and I said nasty words to them in return, colorful words. And I go home and I'm like, oh no, I can't believe I did that. So I'm now upset. I'm blaming myself. I'm creating karma, right? I created karma. I go back the next day. I say, hey, I'm sorry. I said those things. No, I'm not forgiving you. You said bad things. I will never, ever forgive you for those words. I come back home. I work on it. I work on it. I work on it. I work on it internally or by myself. I've already talked to them. I work on it internally until I find the day and the time that eventually I forgive myself for allowing myself to be triggered and allowing myself, putting myself in that situation and saying nasty things. In that moment in time, the other person has the opportunity, unconsciously, most probably unconsciously, to accept the forgiveness and say, yeah, I'm ready to let this go as well. Or not. That is their business at that time. That has not your business anymore. You need to work on you constantly, constantly. Even if it's with people who have passed away, you continuously work that way. Continuously work with yourself. The more there is forgiveness, the more confident you become, the more relaxed you become, the less you start taking things seriously, the more you realize that everything that is happening to you or that you are creating, which is the actual truth, every situation that you are creating and you're putting yourself in that situation, you're only doing it so that you can reconnect with your own pure essence, which is love. When you come from a place of love, instead of allowing the ego, the mind to be triggered, when you process things from the state of your heart, then you don't get triggered. Then everything just washes off. Then the battles that you create for yourself, we all create for ourselves, we realize is a constant opportunity for us to realize that we are pure love. We keep forgetting that. We keep forgetting that we are pure love. And so we create all these different things, situations in our lives to remind us to come back to our pure essence. The more you reconnect with your pure essence of heart, the more you take nice deep breaths, the easier it is to let go of karma, trauma, and let go of the chain of reincarnation. So when we leave our physical body, our pure consciousness lives on. So if you've had somebody that has left their physical body, has transitioned, and you sometimes feel them and you sometimes hear them and you sometimes see them, it is their pure consciousness that's coming to you, because that no one can ever destroy that. So what you earn in this life, when you react from a place of love, when you think about things from a place of love, the more you're breaking the chains of reincarnation. So it really doesn't matter if we win a battle or not. If you go right, if you go left, if you go up, or if you go down, as long as the main battle that you win is the one of you loving yourself, that is what counts the most. Yes, do we want to win battles here in this illusion of the world we have created? Of course we do. Do we want to have tons of money, buy the things that we want, and make this illusion of a life more fun, more joyful, with things that money can buy? Of course we want that. And you are allowed to have that should you want that. We all are. And yes, you can achieve for those things as well without feeling guilty or shame. As long as you also realize that these are just elementary things. These are not the actual essence of life. Again, your pure essence of love does not need $1 million in its account, does not need a castle on the hill, does not need a plane. Our pure essence only needs love. And the more you come from this place of love, the more you will attract people that are from that same exact space. And the more we disconnect with our pure essence, the more we attract people who are also not connected to their pure love. Now, so what happens to our past when we used to connect to when we used to hang out with people who were not connected to their pure heart? Maybe our family was not, maybe our siblings were not, our cousins were not, our friends were not. Maybe we were stuck in that kind of a situation because that was the best way we could live, was to go along. We just have to go along with it. We just have to go along with it, continuously even work harder to connect to our heart, and continuously give this situation to the light, and continuously do the forgiveness with ourselves, with the past, the younger version of us that didn't know better, that didn't have options, to continuously forgive that person, bring that person into the present moment, and hold her, hold him until they are feeling safe and secure. So I see a comment here. I love to not reincarnate anymore. Absolutely, darling. Me too. So we continuously work on forgiveness so that all the karma we've created, that we believe we created, again, it's all an illusion. We believe we created this karma. Oh, I said something 20 years ago to this person and hurt them. I did something 10 years ago and hurt this person. My ex and I continuously, after we should have already should have parted from one another, we continuously said and did things we hurt each other. To forgive that younger version of you, because 10 years later, 5 years later, I'm looking back. Did I want to really hurt that person? No, of course not. And now, do I want to? Am I in remorse? Yes, of course I am in remorse. But by allowing myself to forgive myself for what I didn't know, that I know now, when I start forgiving the younger version of me, then my ex has the opportunity to forgive himself as well. So, you know how we always say misery loves company? So does love, so does forgiveness. That's why when you've been to high school, you've been to classes, courses, we take courses, you go to college, you go to the cafeteria, certain kind of people gather together. And then you will see, usually, in some college, I'm Armenian, I went to college, the Armenians would gather together. And then from that group of Armenians, the ones that had the same vibration would gather together too. So there will be smaller cliques. So, yes, the more you increase your vibration, the more people with higher vibration will come to you, and you will find them and they will find you. But it's about letting go of the karma. And if we start now, who knows? I mean, most of us have lived many lifetimes. We don't lose the wonderful work that we do in past lifetimes. Those credits are ours. It's like a bank. And that's the wonderful thing, because every situation that happens on a daily basis that we have choices, I can be miserable today, or I can be different. I can be present, be in my body, come from a place of love. When we choose that, that's a credit that we take with ourselves. Every morning we have the opportunity to be different, be our awesome selves, and not be afraid to be our awesome selves, and not to carry the past around. And in order not to carry the past luggage, you forgive it. So the luggage becomes lighter and lighter. The karma becomes lighter and lighter. Who else doesn't want to reincarnate anymore? I remember, and my sister and I both remembered this when we talked to one another. Um, Thank you, Lisa. We both remember from a very young age a thought: I am not coming here anymore. And I remember as a young person, um, I remember saying, I want to have so much money that I can travel the world so I can see all different countries and experience all different cultures, because I'm not coming back here anymore. This is a beautiful planet. I want to see it. I don't know how I thought of these, how I was young. I mean, I must have been 5, 6 years old when I had these thoughts in my mind. And maybe many of you, now that I am, sharing it, opening it up to everybody, maybe if you meditate, or it just might trigger you, oh yeah, that's right, I had that thought too. Um, yes, with grace and ease, it shall be. It shall be. And so a lot of people are saying that this resonates with them, because you are, it resonates with you because you are pure love. It awakens something within us when we think of it that way. Now, I'll tell you a funny story. I'm laughing, okay? Just in case you didn't notice that I was laughing, that was my laughter. Um, when I was young, I don't know, maybe 10 years old, my mom, I saw, we were shopping, I saw this little purse, it had like a little string. It was a really cheap purse, but I fell in love with it. And it was long. And I said, Mom, I really like this. Will you buy it for me? And she said, yes. I was never like I put dresses on, but I was never like, I want this, I wasn't an average girl that wanted to constantly dress up and wanted fancy shoes and this and that. It just wasn't me. And so when I asked her for the purse, she said, sure. So she bought it for me. So we were going to go out. I put the purse here on my shoulder and it fell off. I put it back on, it fell off. Like I did this a few times. I'm like, Mom, this keeps falling. Like really had no, it was a cheap purse. It really had no strength. I go, Mom, this keeps falling. She goes, hold your shoulder up. So I'm like, oh my God, Mom's so smart. I held my shoulder up a little bit and off we went wherever we went. Guess what? For 50 years, I've been holding my shoulder up. It's true. Like I'll be just sitting watching TV and then I will be like, my shoulder is up. So I'll gently push it down. I'm talking at this age. I am still catching my shoulder up. So was my mom's advice good? No, it was not. Of course, she would have never known that 40 years later, I would still have my shoulder up. But, she probably should have put this, tied it in the top so it would be heavier over here so it wouldn't fall down. I kept that and I'm still dealing with it. And I used to be very, very angry with my mom because her advice, in my opinion, was not good. It always my right shoulder is higher than of course, I'm exaggerating now, but my right shoulder is higher than my left, which is not good for my spine, which is not good for my back, not good for my right shoulder. I always have pain here. So I am practicing forgiveness for this particular thing with my mom. So I keep asking the universe, how do I go about forgiving her? How do I go about forgiving her? How do I forgive myself for always holding this shoulder up for the past 40 years? And I will continue working on it until it is until I feel like I've forgiven her, even though she gave the best advice she thought she could. I am sure she didn't think I'm going to say something to my daughter for the rest of her life it will bother her. It would be damage her spine and blah blah blah. I'm sure she didn't think that. She gave the best advice she could to resolve the situation, and that's all there is to it. So once this is resolved, then I am sure another situation with my mom will come up that I would need to resolve. So you see how detailed this forgiveness is now. Okay. Yes to you, life. Life is saying, headed to the golden age, from my understanding may be heaven on earth. I get glimmers of what it feels like to be pure love, nature, all chakras balanced in perfect harmony. Beautiful, yes. Being in nature without your earpods, without your headset, without your cell phone talking to somebody, really being in nature is love. You will feel nature's love. Have you ever hugged a tree? I close my eyes sometimes at home and I'm hugging a tree. When I am meditating, not with my TM, because I do TM meditation, not TM, but when I'm meditating on my own, the first thing I do is go to a couple of different trees that I know that I love and I feel connection to. And that's how I start my meditation. That's nature. And trees are very grounding and lovely and beautiful. But find your own nature. It's kind of cold out there, so I don't go walking a lot, but unless it's sunny outside. But you might be in a place where you can go walking. Do so. Do connect to nature, however it may seem to you. Okay, if there are no more questions about forgiveness, about reincarnation, about pure love, what is it that you need to do to connect to your pure love? That's a good question, is it? Is it? Well, how about if you wake up every morning and say, what is it that I need to do today to connect to my pure love so I can speak from a place of love rather than a place of ego? So I feed the deer like pets. I would love to feed deers. So when I am driving home, there's lots of deer where I am. When I'm driving home, um, I always do this before I start my drive. I sit in my car and I do this, and I'm talking to the deer and I say, stay away, stay at a distance, because there are a lot of cars. They jump right in front of the car, and I'm always seeing their corpses on the side of the road. And I bless them, and I bless them, and I bless them. But that is love, right? That is expressing love because I don't want to hurt them. So Lisa feeds them. That is love. Um, I know that a few people left. A few people that were here left, but I'm very curious about where everybody is from. If you could put that in the comment section. Also, if anybody has any questions, I'm gonna do the I'm going to do the this week's cards for us, for everybody that's watching and everybody who will do the replay. Now, in some countries, we're going to be celebrating Christmas in a couple of days. Actually, tomorrow's Christmas Eve, and Wednesday's Christmas Day. Uh, it is a Christmas to me is a time of giving. Christmas to me is a time of giving. It doesn't necessarily have to be giving something material. It can be giving your time. It can be giving your love. It can be feeding animals. Um, it's just about giving from your heart. So, regardless if you celebrate Christmas or not, what if we all take this opportunity to go out of our way to give to someone something, even if it is making a call to a person that you haven't called in a very long time and talk to them or leave them a message. Um, what if you go to a nursing home, um, and take flowers for people? It doesn't have to be today or tomorrow. It doesn't have to be this week, but plan it. It is the season of giving. And isn't it wonderful to celebrate other cultures' wonderful traditions? And I love that. So, and that's why I love Thanksgiving, because sometimes people get so busy, and Thanksgiving is just a moment. And as much as a lot of traditions come not from a place of light but from a place of dark, the question is, what are you doing with it now? Are you practicing something in the light and from a place of your love? And if you are, then keep going every single day. Okay, cards for all of us for this week. How will this week be for us? Wow. Okay. So don't panic. The first card is coffin. Don't panic. I'm going to hold it for the YouTube and Instagram people. The key and the bear. I had to look at the bear for a second. I know, I think today I don't have enough lighting. I think there's a lot of, I could have turned the other light on. So the coffin, as bad as it looks, it's not bad. It is the ending. It is the ending of something. And how appropriate is that? Because it is the ending of the year. Next week is the ending of the year. Perfect timing. Yes. The key, home, family. Again, how perfect. It is a time to go home. Now, going home is in many different ways. Going home could be mean going home to be with your family, traveling to be with your family. I'm traveling next week to be with my family, right? It could literally mean that. But coming into your heart and connecting to your love center, which is what I've been talking about all night long, is also coming home to your pure essence. Now, today I didn't talk about why we create all these things, all this karma, drama, trauma. I haven't talked about that right now. Another time we'll talk about that. The third card, the bear. Ta-da! The bear. The bear is power. Yes, to life. This could also be your cards, right? Key to success, the power, the strength. It is about it could be about finances too. So how will I put all of this together? It is the ending of 2024, and 2024 is bringing us home, is giving us the opportunity to go into our heart and to lead our life differently, and that is from a pure essence of our love rather than our ego, rather than our mind. Um, they said this, it hurt me. How dare they said this? How dare they treat me like that? Instead of that, just coming back into our heart and realizing that they are in a place of hurt, and that's where they're coming from. And we do not have to be a reflection of them, no matter how much they come. All the different kind of people come like that towards us. We do not have to return that to them. Right here, I want to bring you an example of I was in a train, like those uh, tubes, or not like a train that goes from one state to the other, but those like subway. That's the word. I was like in a subway um, with friends. We were going home from an event, and then there was a man close to us who was drunk, and he had fallen down from his seat. Um, and there were other people standing by him, and one of them kicked the man's shoe. Ha ha ha. Those people started laughing. One of them kicked the shoe, and then the other one did. So it's so easy, right? It's so easy when somebody is down to kick them. It's so easy when somebody is coming at us to go at them. The hard thing is not to. The hard thing is to stay in our hearts and not go at that level, not allow them to trigger us. Of course, coming back to the train, me being me, I said out loud, sure, kick a man when he's down. And everybody silent, went silent. And those friends looked at me, but we were a group of women and men. And they knew they couldn't mess with us, and they didn't. They left the poor drunk man alone. Okay, it takes practice to come always from here. The bear. We need to charge into 2025 and manifest whatever it is that you want to manifest. Think about all the stuff that you want to manifest, and constantly remembering that this all is an illusion. All of this is an illusion. And the work is, the real work is constantly coming back to our heart center. Because as long as you're connected to your heart center, then you're connected to the divine. The reason why we created this illusion is because we're disconnected from the divine being of ourselves. And we continuously create situations for us so that we can continuously give ourselves the opportunity to reconnect with our divine. We give ourselves that opportunity over and over again until we get it. Remember the practice of forgiveness. Okay, Everybody, I went over again. We're again almost an hour here. I can't believe it, but we can talk about this for days, I think. We can talk about love and how we lost connection with our divine selves and what we need to do um, to reconnect to our divine selves over and over again until we are fully there without fear. Have a Merry Christmas. Have a wonderful week. Happy Hanukkah. I believe Hanukkah has started. I apologize. I don't exactly know, but it's very close. If it hasn't, uh, and see you next Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time. And I probably should also write what time, like UK time is as well, so that I think it's in the middle of the night over there. I think um, everybody from Europe on, it's middle of the night, unless we go to uh, Russia, China, maybe over there it's not. I don't know about Middle East, but I'll have to check. I'm just curious now. All right. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Your likes really, really help. Your comments really, really help. Your sharing of this podcast when it starts or afterwards, even inviting your friends. It helps to spread the word if you liked it. Okay. Merry Christmas. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Lisa. Good night, everybody.